one thing I really like as a DM is players who take risks and are willing to press the big red shiny button. I think a lot of times DMs are, and I think we've talked about this, and there's a great bit from Brennan Lee Mulligan about DMs who punish their players. And I think there's a difference between being like a risk-taking player and being an obnoxious player. Like, you go to the shopkeep and you're like, hey, that 1,000 gold item, give it to me. And the shopkeep's like, no. And you're like, all right, I killed the shopkeep owner. It's not really risk-taking, and you're also a very annoying player at the table.
Yeah.
But I like the players who push the button, and kind of, I think when other people are like, what are you doing? Like at the table, that's kind of a fun, I don't know how much that happened in our campaign, but, it could be fun.
No, so. Yeah, I totally agree. I think there is a nice line there that you're referring to between that first type of player and the one we're talking about. But I absolutely love the latter of those two players for sure, because they're what makes it interesting, right? Especially as a DM, if you have to like kind of improv because of something, your player did something you didn't expect. That can be a lot of fun too.
We in my most recent campaign, the players found basically like a portal to like an eldritch whatever world, and they were all too scared to go into it. And they had like they had the crystal that you have to put into the portal machine, for lack of a better phrasing, to like activate and turn it on. So they were like, we're not going to turn it on. We're not going to do it. But then they decided to sleep in the room where the portal was. And they all took watches for their shift, for their long rest, because they hadn't long rested yet. And the player who's like the most susceptible to like wisdom fails, basically, he was like, I'll take the last watch, to which I was like, but anyway, I had this moment where he basically had the option to like look into the gym, kind of like the Palantir from Lord of the Rings, and he chose to indulge into that. And people at the table were like, what are you doing? And he was like, hey, someone's got to move this plot along. And I was like, I really appreciate you saying that. But I had this he failed a wisdom saving throw, and I had this moment where he was like holding like a cup of coffee, and I was like, you look down to take your sip and you're holding the stone in your hand. Like he almost like didn't remember like going and getting the stone like out of the pack. And anyway, he opened the portal and they all went into it. So
yeah, I love that.
But